Sometimes all you need is a way to quickly create budget categories, view your total budget, track your expenses towards each budget category, and then quickly see exactly how much is left in each category. And so, we've got this quick and easy video to show you exactly how to make this whole thing in Google Sheets starting from scratch. Speaking of which, we will begin with a blank Google Sheets spreadsheet. Select columns F through Z, right-click on the column headers, and delete. Click here in this box, which is called the name box. Type in 13:1000 and press enter. This action selects rows 13 through 1000, which we will now delete. So right-click on the row headers and delete. Now select rows 1 through 12. Right-click, resize rows. Set the size to 30. Click OK. Select columns B through E. Right-click, resize columns. Set the size to 125. Click OK. Select column A. Right-click, resize column. Set the size to 150. Click OK. Select row 1. Bold the font. Click the fill color button here and add a light blue fill color. Then click here to select all cells in the worksheet. Set the horizontal alignment to left and set the vertical alignment to middle. All right. That does it for the general worksheet structure. So now, make a copy of this worksheet by right-clicking on the Worksheet tab and select Duplicate. Then, double-click to rename the first sheet to Budget and rename the second sheet to Spending. Okay, first let's focus on the budget sheet. Select cell A1 and type in Category. Then budget, spending, remaining, and remaining percentage. Then select cell A12 and type in total. At this point, go ahead and type in a few sample categories and budget amounts like so. It doesn't really matter what they are for now, we just need the sample data to help us validate our formulas later on. And once you have some data, select columns B through E and change the horizontal alignment to center. Then click the More Formats button here and select Number. After that, select C2 through E11. Add a light gray fill color. Select row 12. Bold the font and add a light gray fill color. Finally, select the range A2 through A11. Click here in the name box. Type in Category List with no spaces and press Enter. This creates a range name that we can use to refer back to our list of budget categories. And that does it for the budget worksheet at the moment. We're going to come back and finish it at the end, but for now, go ahead and move to the spending worksheet. Start by selecting column E, right-click, and delete. Then select row 1 and change the fill color to red or a color of your choice. Now select cell A1 and enter date, then category, description, and amount. Select column B, right-click, resize column, change the width to 150, click OK. Select column C, right-click, resize column, change the width to 200, click OK. Select column D, change the horizontal alignment to center. Then click the More Formats button here and select Number. Finally, select column A, right-click, resize column, change the width to 125, click OK. Then click the More Formats button here and select Date. Fantastic. Now let's create drop-down lists to make it easy to pick a specific category for each spending transaction. Select the range B2 through B12 and go to Data, Data Validation. Click on Add Rule, change the criteria to drop down from a range, and in the box below, type in equals category list, which is the range name that we created earlier, and then press Enter. You can then click on Advanced Options and change the display style if you want to. Some people like the chip style that you see right now. For me personally, I like the arrow style. Either way, click Done and close the panel on the right. Then go ahead and add in some sample data like so. Awesome. That does it for the spending worksheet, so back to the budget worksheet. We can now add the formulas that will calculate the spending and remaining amounts for each category. Start by selecting cell C2 and enter the following formula. Equals SUMIFS function, spending, exclamation point, $D, $2, colon, $D, next argument, spending, exclamation point, $B, $2, colon, $B, next argument, A2, close parentheses and press enter. This formula uses the SUMIFS function to add together all of the amount values on the spending worksheet coded with the category in cell A2. Now, if you live in a country where you use a comma instead of a period to separate the decimal from the whole number, then your function syntax will most likely use semicolons instead of commas as argument separators in your formula. This is just something to be aware of if you can't get this formula to work. That being said, go ahead and use the fill handle to copy the formula down to cell C11. Next, select cell D2 and enter the formula equals B2 minus C2. This formula simply subtracts the spending amount from the budget amount to give you the remaining amount. And once you've written it, use the fill handle to copy the formula down to cell D11. Awesome. The next step is to calculate the totals at the bottom. So select cell B12 and enter the formula equals sum function B2 through B11, close parentheses and press enter. This formula just sums up all of the budget numbers. And once you've written it, use the fill handle to copy the formula over to cell D12. Next, select C2 through C12. Change the font color to red. Select D2 through D12 and change the font color to blue. Nice. We are almost done. All we have left is the bar charts on the right. Select cell E2 and enter the following formula. And by the way, if you used semicolons instead of commas as argument separators in the previous formula, then your formula is going to look like this. Otherwise, go ahead and enter equals if function B2 equals 0, next argument, quote, dash, quote, next argument, sparkline function, D2, next argument, open bracket, quote, chart type, quote, comma, quote, bar, quote, semicolon, quote, max, quote, comma, B2, semicolon, quote, color 1, quote, comma, quote, green, quote, close bracket, close parentheses, and press enter. This formula checks to see if the budget amount is 0, and if so, it returns a dash. If not, the sparkline function creates a green bar representing the remaining amount left for that specific budget category. And of course, go ahead and use the fill handle to copy the formula down to cell E12. Finally, select cell E12 and change green to dark green, all one word, and press enter. Just like that, you are done with the template. Now, just a few tips on how to use it before you go. To add more categories, select rows somewhere between the top and bottom rows. Then right-click and insert rows. After that, don't forget to copy the formulas down with the fill handle. Over on the spending page, all you have to do here is enter the number of rows that you want to add and click add. And that's all there is to it. Okie dokie, we made it through the build. Like this video if you had fun or learned something new, and leave a comment to ask a question or say hello. And until next time, I'll see you again in the next Spreadsheet Life video.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me.